If you want government to start granting rights, then perhaps it's time to start looking for something other than a chair. Something entirely different than this, because that's not what this one does. That's what this one does. The other element involved in the Save the Education rallies comes from the radical left. These rallies have already been marred by vandalism and violence. Tea parties, no. These, yes. Tomorrow we're going to get into this in greater detail, but I want you to look again closely at this poster. Look at the bottom of this poster. It says, resist, mobilize, and transform. Yeah, you can't see it. It's down at the bottom of the screen. Pull in. Yeah, Oscar, can you pull in here? Resist, mobilize, and transform. Last year, I told you about this book. It's written by the Invisible Committee. The book is called The Coming Insurrection. It's written by 12 people. Some of them now are in jail over in, I think, in France. It's written by communists over in Europe, and they say everything about destroy the family, you name it. This is the most evil book I think I've read in a long, long time. This, I told you, was over in Europe, and it was coming here. It's here, gang. It's here in that poster. Do you remember what I showed you this week? You remember the bald communist? Let me show you the bald communist again.
We have to help bring this government down. We have to help destroy this system, and that requires increasing the alienation that working class and oppressed people feel. The way change is going to happen in this country is through the destruction of what we call the United States of America. I'm opposed to the system that we traditionally call imperialism, and the idea that some people have rights and privileges that are not granted to all human beings. And the solution to that problem is called communism and socialism, and we should put it in our mouths.
Education is a human right. A human right. All humans have rights. Yes, they do, but education is not one of them. These guys are a small group, but they are, 20% of Americans were the ones who fought the Revolutionary War. It doesn't take a very large group. They are talking to your children, and they are teaching your children at colleges, even in your high schools. They are indoctrinating them. As we move forward, our history is getting smaller and smaller and smaller in the rearview mirror. They are easily swayed. We forget what this was supposed to look like in the first place. You know, I mentioned at the top of the program that this chair was the only thing that I asked for when my grandfather died. My wife had it restored. But it didn't look this different when I first got it. My grandfather and my grandmother took care of it. It was worn here. And it was worn a little bit in the seat because my grandfather would come out of the field and he would sit in it. But do you know how it got so worn and weathered that I didn't even know what to do with it anymore? My grandfather died when I was about 20. And I took the chair. And for a while, it sat on my back porch in the sun and in the rain. Even though I wanted the chair, I loved the chair, it sat on my porch, and slowly over time, it just started to disintegrate. I don't know if I was lazy or stupid, or I guess in the end I felt guilty. I hadn't taken proper care of it. At the beginning, I think the biggest thing was I just assumed that it would always be there. It would always be this way. It had always looked the same ever since I was a kid. Why would it change? It took my wife to see that if we didn't take care of it, if we didn't restore it, there eventually wouldn't be anything left. She was right. She was right. Now, when it comes to America, I was the same kind of guy. I loved America. I just always thought it would be there. On 9/11, I changed. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, we're so fragile. Do you remember how afraid you were on September 11th? It took that event for me to see the real meaning of freedom, to really appreciate it, to understand that if I don't do my part, if I just always leave it out on the porch and expect it to always be there, it will be gone as well. Since I woke up to that fact, I have averaged 2 to 5 hours of sleep a night, mainly because I'm just reading I am up all the time reading, trying to educate. I've been stupid most of my life. I wanted to shake that. I think you feel the same way. I think that's why you watch this show every night, because we are experiencing the same journey together every day. And I know you're tired. You're busy with the kids, with the family, with work and everything else. And now it seems like every step of the way you have to stop government from doing something else. Now they're taking health care and just turning it upside down. They're attacking our core values and principles every single day, it seems. They're either turning this chair into a footstool or firewood. We have to first ask ourselves this question: is it worth saving? Is it worth saving? If it is, what's the best way to restore it? The right way to restore America is to stop the transformation. The only way you can do it is to learn history, to see what it was originally, strip it down, look at it. Why did they write these documents the way they did? I could ring the warning bell every single day on this program, but unless you watch, unless you think, unless you're intrigued enough to go and read, unless you act on a local level, and I don't mean with politicians, I mean at your own home with your own children, if you don't do it, in 10 years your kids won't know who Daniel Boone is. Daniel Boone was a big man. Do you remember that? Our kids don't even know who Daniel Boone is. The things that we knew, because at the time it was spilling out of our television sets, it's not anymore. We learn these things, our kids do not. They won't know who Daniel Boone is, or Davy Crockett, or Neil Armstrong. Oh, they'll know who probably Mary Kay is, but not Christopher Columbus. And they will learn that America is an imperialist nation. And it won't matter to them. It won't matter to them that it's gone, because they'll be a global citizen. I know this, and I know history is important, because that is the argument and the debate that is going on right now in Texas for our children's textbooks. As Texas goes, so goes the rest of the country when it comes to textbooks. History has been important. It always has been. I just didn't appreciate it. But luckily I smartened up, and with a dear sweet wife who thought enough of me to give me the greatest Christmas present I have received. I remember my own history, and I appreciate it. I am the man I am today because I not only remember this little boy, me, but I also remember this man, a machinist at Boeing and a farmer, a guy who I don't think he even completed the 4th grade. A man who loved his country. A man who was a Democrat. He wouldn't even recognize the Democrats today. And although he may be gone, in his own way he taught me well to cherish those things that are real and important and to protect them. He did his best. And now it is time for me, now that he is gone, for me to take his place and do my best, and you to do your best. And with any luck, our children and grandchildren will think of us the way I think of him. Back in a minute.